Margaret, they all call her Peggy. That's the legend.
Yeah.
Then in 1996, two ladies came from North Dakota. They said, this is Peggy when she grew up.
Mm-hmm.
She was too young to remember her name, miraculously washed ashore, and the people that took care of her called her Peggy. In both stories, she became known as Peggy of the Cove, so the name of Peggy's Cove. They said she fell in love with one of the sons of the family that took care of her. They got married and moved to Hamilton. Later, they went to North Dakota.
Okay.
They said it's true. Bill said you can't prove it, and the locals say it's a bunch of baloney. So nobody did anything with the story, and in 1996 we had Hurricane Josephine, and I took this picture. I didn't see this image. A gentleman from the United States pointed it out. There's the hat, this would be the face, the arms, the belt, and the dress. See it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't believe I didn't see that. I have to do something with that. So I did the painting, The Rescue of Peggy. You'll see the original upstairs. Then I wrote the song. I said I must do the story. So this is my first book. Since one said she was a little girl too young to remember her name, and the other said she was a young woman, I started her at age 8, but she has a memory loss. And this is chapter 1 of my first book in the children's version. So this is the storm coming, and this is the captain giving orders. Halibut Rock. When you're down by the lighthouse, and you look out here about a couple hundred feet offshore, you'll see the waves breaking. You won't see anything, but that's Halibut Rock. It just lays below the surface. So through the night, the storm gets bigger. The captain sends everybody below. They hit Halibut Rock, and everybody gets lost but Peggy. She gets rescued at daybreak. It's supposed to be in October, and so they rush her to the nearest home to warm her and feed her, and here's where she can't remember. She's so exhausted she falls asleep. Mary checks on her at noon. Peggy just woke up crying. Mary asked if she could remember her name, and she said no. So Mary said, why don't we just call you Peggy? I'm sure your memory will come back. So she agrees. Mary takes her home, starts to show her through the house. In come the 3 sons. Later, this big man walks in, and Mary said, you have to meet my husband, John. She goes, she recognizes John's the one that rescued her. And this is her now standing on the shore, wondering who she is and where she's from. And that's my version. My cousin's a movie producer in Mississauga. She said, send me your book. So I sent her this. She said, we're looking for a good family movie. Oh, she said, there's not enough. I said, well, I'm working on my next book. She said, send it. I did. She said, oh, Ivan, you can't tell little stories like you did. You need structure. Describe your setting, your characters, a plot and hook at the end of the chapters. I said, I don't have a clue. What's a plot? I didn't do well in school. She said, I'm going to help you. This took 3 years, and 12 times I rewrote it. She said, now you can publish it. And it won the Bronze Independent Book Publisher Award in the U.S. And this is Peggy's journey to discovering who she is and where she's from. And it all started with Janet and the dream catcher. In real life, Janet was my grandmother. So in my story, Peggy and Janet became best friends, and they slept in the room above the kitchen. And I had the house all cleaned out, made it as a dark gallery, but for some I had a Peggy room. This tour guide said, put it all back so people could see each other home, reaching out the story. Well, the house was white. People didn't see it too well, so I made the wave. And Barry, who sat from Seabright, said, hang a mural on the house. That'll get attention. So the next day I was painting. I don't know if you noticed the colored tree. This was Peggy's happy tree. It was my mother's little spruce. I had it all nicely pruned up, and a porcupine chewed all the bark off the bottom and killed it. So I painted it up, made it her happy tree. You wouldn't believe how popular this tree is. And it's in my 3rd book, which is better than my 2nd, it'll be the 4th will be the romance. And these have all been approved by the Department of Education, and they've been rated good for all ages. And I probably have more adults buying my books than young readers. So now we have the scoop on Peggy. Do you want a little tour through the house?
Yes.
Okay. Sure, go ahead. Where? Oh, here. In the kitchen. Behind the table.
Okay.
Or, yeah.
I'll let you make the answer.
In the kitchen.
When I lose juice, I send him juice.
So these are the 4 main characters. My wife sculpted dolls. She never made a doll in her life. She sculpted these from scratch. This is Peggy, Janet, my grandmother. Billy, he's
Troszkę wiosny.
and the sister Rosa. She's like a twin to Peggy, but she's no relation. And when visitors show up, they found Rosa. They thought they had Peggy. This is my real grandparents. This is fact. Janet and John. Her sewing machine, her glasses and threads and patterns. And this is her 10 cents. Now this is an interesting dime. This year, this is 100 years old. This is 1917. You know about the Halifax explosion?
No.
Oh, two ships collided in Halifax Harbor in 1917.
Oh, he had the explosion.
Yes,
Yeah,
and the one caught on fire. It was loaded with ammunition and it blew up. It's the Halifax explosion.
explosion,
Largest man-made explosion besides an atomic bomb.
Yes.
And this is the same year. Now, we didn't know why this was cut, but people that have been coming here told me this is called a clipped coin. What they would do is take these 10-cent pieces, cut pieces of silver off, and collect it, melt it down, and make things, and they still had their 10 cents. That was my grandmother's. This is my mother's high chair. Her father made it. When she got married, she brought it here, and we all used it. And Grandpa made this churn. This is made from a hollowed oak tree. It's one piece. He made wagon wheels. This is a little mini one he never finished. This is my chalkboard when I was 9. He had sauerkraut maker. Now we're going to pass East St. Margaret's School down in Indian Harbor. That opened in 1958. I was in grade 7. We had to go by bus and take a lunch. That was my lunch pail. Dad and his brothers and sisters rocker. And we used it as well. So we're 100 years old. And my
No,
great-grandpa-
myślę, że starczy, bo to już czas nas ogranicza, nawet YouTube'owy, także jesteśmy w muzeum. Jeszcze nas to pewnie oprowadzi i zawiezie nas gdzieś, gdzie trzeba być, także do zobaczenia.